A lot of people say that Casino Royale is their favorite Bond movie from Daniel Craig. And it is awesome, don't get me wrong, but I was always more of a Skyfall kind of guy. Skyfall is the third James Bond film released in 2012 for the 50th anniversary of the franchise, and opens in Istanbul, where Bond and another field agent are trying to go after this guy that has an important hard drive. Unfortunately, things don't go well because the other agent accidentally hits Bond when trying to hit the other guy with a sniper rifle. Bond falls supposedly to his death, and the other guy gets away. Guess what? The hard drive that the guy had contained a list of a lot of MI6 agents, and then MI6 is blown up, and 5 agent names are released every week by this cyber terrorist until some demands are met. Meanwhile, Bond survives death somehow. It's never really answered, but he is put back on the field and is sent to go after this villain named Raul Silva, who might have some history with M. Now, as I mentioned, Casino Royale is an awesome Bond movie, don't get me wrong. It's really great. It brought the franchise back after that horrible Die Another Day. How many times have I said Die Another Day when reviewing Bond movies? Count it. But anyway, it was an awesome movie all around. And Skyfall continues that awesome trend, even with Quantum of Solace, which I like, but not as good as those two. I mean, Skyfall still has the amazing action sequences, which here I think are a little more creative and a little more intense. Daniel Craig still does a great job as Bond. Not much else to say. He's been doing the same performance as Bond for the last 2 movies, and here he's still pretty good. Judi Dench gets her time to shine in this movie as M, and we really get to see the dynamic between her and Bond, and really see how much M just does not care about things. I mean, she does, but she always has this attitude of, I don't give a shit, which I think is fun. The score is not done by David Arnold, but this time Thomas Newman, and I think it's really good. I think it's actually the best Bond score of the Daniel Craig films so far. And the opening song and opening credit sequence as a whole is absolutely fantastic. It gives me chills. And the song Skyfall by Adele is so good. It was the first Bond film to win an Oscar for Best Original Song, and the second Bond song overall to be nominated for that award. So I think the music, honestly, is better than in Casino Royale. What else did Skyfall do better than Casino Royale, in my opinion? Well, one is the cinematography. Roger Deakins is the DP on this movie, and he's really one of the best cinematographers working right now, because it leads to some beautiful shots. Almost every shot in this film is almost very art-like, including one action scene in Shanghai where Bond and this other henchman guy are fighting against a blue backdrop, and the only time you ever see the two of them is when a gunshot goes off. Otherwise, it's just these 2 black figures fighting each other, and I thought that was really creative. One thing I also really admire is how personal this movie is for Bond. We actually get to see Bond's background before he became a 00 agent, and it really, like, to the point where we even get a Bond manor. Like, there's a mansion that Bond grew up in, lived in, before he became an agent. It's really great, but the only bad thing about it is that Idris Elba can't play James Bond anymore. Because some people had the theory that, oh, James Bond is just a fake name that you get once you're an agent, but this movie kind of disproves that. So unless they want to reboot the franchise again, Idris Elba sadly can't play Bond. I'd love for him to play James Bond because I think he's got the chops, but since James Bond is an actual person and not some identity, then that's not happening, sadly. The villain, I think, is better this time around. Javier Bardem plays Raul Silva, the villain of the film, and to me, out of all the Bond films I've seen, he's probably the equivalent of the Joker. Not in the sense that he and Bond are arch enemies, but this guy's insane. He's really out of his mind. He can be funny at points. He's classy. He's a great Bond villain all around, but what really makes it is his relationship between M, Judi Dench's character. Anytime those two are on screen together, it's so tension-filled and nail-biting and nerve-wracking, especially near the end of the movie. It is just some really intense moments between the two of them, and both actors, especially Javier Bardem, pull it off perfectly. And one other thing that I loved that this movie did was bring back many classic elements of Bond, like Eve Moneypenny is back, Q is back providing equipment for Bond, even though the equipment he provides is a gun that detects his fingerprint and a radio. Just the fact that Q is providing Bond with equipment is really nice, and they did a fantastic job honoring the franchise for its 50th anniversary, right down to putting in little references that aren't really in your face, but if you're a Bond fan, you'll catch it. Like, there's the classic Bond car, which that's probably the only thing that's really in your face, but then again, that's a really iconic moment for Bond, so you gotta have it. There's a bottle of scotch that Silva has that's dated for 1962, the same year Dr. No came out, the first Bond film. And there's a scene in this movie with a Bond girl that is almost directly lifted from GoldenEye, one of my favorite Bond movies. And it's not a ripoff, but or at least I don't think it is. Some people might say it's a ripoff, but I thought it was pretty cool. So if I had any negatives to say about it, it's that there's a point in the movie, right before the big climax, where it does drag a bit, but that's most likely a nitpick, because Skyfall, I think, is the best Daniel Craig Bond movie so far. It's action-packed, it's very emotional, it's beautiful to look at, it's just all around awesome. A great way to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the franchise. So get off your ass and go see Skyfall right now if you haven't. In fact, say Spectre was not being made, or say Spectre had a new actor play James Bond. Skyfall would have been the perfect way to send Daniel Craig out on a bang. And, I mean, we'll see what Spectre does. I'm hoping for the best, but Skyfall, I don't see how you can top Skyfall, honestly, in terms of Daniel Craig Bond movies. And that's my review for Skyfall and all of the Daniel Craig Bond movies. Spectre comes out the first week of November in the United States, but comes out the last week of October in the UK, so you United Kingdom audience members, enjoy the movie. I'll be back next Wednesday to review the sequels to a movie that I've already reviewed, and if you know what date Wednesday is, you know what I'm talking about. But until then, leave a comment and tell me what you thought of this movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Like, subscribe, share me with your friends. Don't forget to check out my official website, therealmrrobinson.com, and go follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and Periscope. This is The Real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.